Welcome to Memorial Day weekend's State of the Escritoire. So what's going on recently? My wife and I have been cleaning house. We ended up making a couple boxes of donations, so I went by and dropped them off at the local thrift store. And while I was there, I checked inside and I found this awesome, like, reptile skin. I don't know if it's snake or what. I found this awesome box. And it was high quality, man. Look, they even have it. The same lining is on the inside, and then over here for where you store your watch. This is a really unique and individualized item that really helps me just to toss all my, when I empty my pockets out, here's what I've got, right? My Beats, little notebook, my watch, my ring over here, and then my pens I have different cases for, but this was a really cool find. All right, let's see what's going on in fountain pens. So I have Hellcats inked up over here with the Van Diemen's, and this is a nice pen. I really like the grip of it. I went back to Inferno Orange because it's been a long time since I've used that to correct other people's documents at work. And here I'm still using, what is it? Emerald of Chavour. It's probably about time we change that out. See how we're doing. Oh, we're still doing. I haven't used it that much this week, so. All right, so we'll keep the Emerald of Chavour rocking in there. And we can get rid of our decoy pen because I don't need that. I'm not going to see anybody I need to give a decoy pen to anytime soon. So what does that mean? That means we can go ahead and pick an ink to go put into our vintage Pilot Short. And let's have some more fun today. Let's go ahead and fill up the sponsor pen from our buddy Dave. And let's fill this one up. It's a zoom nib too, so I've never used a zoom nib. That'll be neat. Let's go ahead and fill this one up with the Mont Blanc. I think I might actually fill both these pens with the Mont Blanc while I'm at it. All right, well, if that's the case, let's prepare our area. All right. We've got our Mont Blanc Irish Green, a little bit of agitation. And we're going to go ahead and use a converter fill. Converter fills are almost preferred when you're using samples. Sometimes you can't get the size nib into these little vials, and this kind of makes it last a little bit longer. But as far as if I had, all things equal, if I could, I'd rather have a nib fill because then the nib gets saturated and you don't have to waste your converter ink saturating the nib. So you get a bigger ink capacity basically when you do it with the nib. But anyway, let's go ahead and put this in. Feels like we had good solid fill. Let's give her a prime. See what I mean when you have to fill it up like this? You lose a little bit of ink. You can be a little careful and sometimes suck that drip back up, but I'm not too worried. One thing I would like to ask Dave, and I know you'll see this, since this is micarta, I was wondering if you might give me permission to do a thin layer of food-safe, food-grade mineral oil on it. I would do that if this were mine personally, or if it was a knife handle. If you look it up, it's something that is kind of recommended. This is a porous material. That's another reason I actually didn't want to do a nib fill with this, because I didn't know how this porous material would react to soaking it in. So micarta is something to be aware of in that sense. This is basically like fabric in between stack layers of resin, so it's got some porous qualities to it. Anyway, that can absorb liquid, water, moisture, or even start to grow bacteria. So one thing that is actually recommended is a thin layer of food-grade mineral oil, because that helps seal up. Basically, that gets absorbed before anything else, and then that prevents liquid, water, moisture, mildew, or bacteria from growing. I would never do that without asking first, but if this were my pen, that would be something I would do if you give me permission. Otherwise, I completely understand not. But it would give this pen an additional luster, too, and I think if you put it on these threads, it'll help clean up these threads. Anyway, something to ponder, and I'm going to check out this zoom nib. Micarta, it is kind of cool. I do like this material. I like the look. Goes well with that snakeskin box from earlier. All right, let's now get our Pilot Long Short in the green. And this one has a long, skinny one, so I'm actually going to do a nib fill on this one. Okay. If I can, I try and cap it first to prevent spills, but you know how it goes. And while we've got all these things out and about, let's go ahead and put some Blue Dragon Blue in the River City. And I am going to commit heresy, and I'm not going to clean these because we're going from one Blue Dragon to the next, and they're both Blue Dragons. So the base color is the same, only the shimmer is going to be different. So let's commit heresy together. These ones actually have a lot of shimmer, so gotta mix them up well. Excellent. Let's cap this up. Alright, now if you do this right when you prime it, you really only have to go till you start to see the liquid fill up the spines, and then you can hopefully suck it back in before you lose a drop. Like, I'm seeing all sorts of liquid in those spines. Yep, it almost drips. So I tried to suck it back up so we don't lose too much. Should be ready to rock and roll. Alright, let's see how they are. First, let's go ahead and try this Micarta Zoom Nib. I've never used a Zoom Nib. Okay, so I think you're supposed to get like finer, and then when you go lower, you get wider. Let's try. Oh yeah, when you go up, it's really fine. So you can see the different angles there. This one gets finer like this, and then as you go down shallow angle, you get the thicker ones. My natural angle, it's comfortable, and it's very wet and juicy when I write at that angle, so it was cool. Definitely have to play with it. Might be a nice journaling nib. And the Micarta, I never considered Micarta pens, but you know, I actually like this. This is cool. I would definitely consider a Micarta pen. Alright, so this is the same ink in the Pilot Short. This is a vintage from 1967 or before. I usually keep this around for my planner at work because it's a fine. So it's got small constrained boxes. Test of, what do we got? Mont Blanc. Irish green, of course. That'll be a nice green, something that sticks out in my planner. And this will probably stay with us. I don't go through this ink that fast, so that'll probably be in there for a month, maybe even 6 weeks, we'll see. Finally, let's test out our River City with my additional 1.5 stub that was ground to an italic. This one you got to kind of prime by going back and forth to get the entire surface area wet. I was kind of silly to do this. I put a really expensive grind on a cheap nib, but I wanted a nice grind more than I could afford the gold at the time. I actually put that money into a different vintage pen, so instead of going all out on one nib, I got a vintage pen with its own gold nib. So, italic grind. Alright, so let's take a look at our ink. We had the zoom nib. It was cool. When you do a high angle, you get the fine writing, as you see up top here. This one, where is it? This one here was my natural angle writing. At a really shallow angle, you get even more broad strokes. I'll have to play around with that more to see, you know, how I can use it better. I put that same ink, the Mont Blanc Irish Green, as you see up here. I went ahead and I put that in my fine that I keep with my leather portfolio with me. And here was the Blue Dragon Blue mixed with the leftover uncleaned gold that was in it before, Blue Dragon Gold. So now this one has a little bit of gold and blue shimmer in there. Kind of a mini Frankenstein creation. But yeah, that one's got a lot of red sheen. It's got a kind of a dark teal undertone, and then you get some good shimmer in there too. So alrighty guys, thank you for sticking with it, and thank you for checking out our channel yet again, and I hope you have a wonderful Memorial Day weekend if I don't check in with you sooner.